What I think is amazing is that we're sitting here with this technology, and in fact the law will come and defend our right to free speech.
Yes, isn't that wonderful?
And part of this is because people looked at the awful persecution often done by the church to the church.
Oh, my
They
land,
said,
yes.
enough is enough.
Yes.
They looked at the death of Servetus, murdered, tortured to death, burned alive by Calvin and his followers.
Terrible stuff.
And they said, and I think this is well traced historically, people said, let's not do this. And so the right to free speech and freedom of religion is a joy that Paul would have loved. He would have found that very exciting. We're actually benefiting from this. I think that's absolutely unparalleled in human history, in this great land, great as it is, awful as it is in some ways, and yet very great because of the freedoms we have. Look at the Bibles.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And the helps
Oh,
and the software.
Right. It's
amazing.
It is amazing. And we are very honored and
Very
privileged
honored.
as people today. And so you have to think then, as Christians, what excuse do we have for not pursuing the Word of God, the things of God? The Scriptures are readily available to us.
Absolutely.
In varied translations. For
Very
goodness sake.
translation,
And,
multiple languages.
no matter what your language or dialect,
That's exactly
it's
right.
available.
And the
So these are
software, I mean,
wonderful.
imagine the people 100 years ago who had to plow through a Strong's Concordance.
Yes,
We don't have to do that.
that's right.
The Bible software gives me 60 translations in English right off. I can put my cursor on any Greek or Hebrew word
Yes, yes.
and get it parsed for me. I can go to the Greek and Hebrew lexicons in a flash like that.
Yeah.
This is extraordinary. God has made this thing available to facilitate.
And I think that today, far too many Christians do not take advantage of the opportunities they have for reading the Scriptures in a more intelligent way, experiencing that for themselves.
Absolutely.
And we kind of fill up our time, and I'm not necessarily against books, don't misunderstand me, they're, people are written, but we fill up our time, our Bible studies, and our lives with actually reading the books of men, not the Scriptures,
That's right.
when we're actually weak in the Scriptures.
We mentioned the Bible Works there. That's the name of the software. I think there's a Logos, which is very similar.
Yes.
But scholars and the public could well use these tools.
Oh, yes.
You know, because the younger generation particularly is very clever at finding its way around these things.
Right.
But there are 60 translations. Everything I need to know, even a commentary, several commentaries, without excuse at that point.
And when you're down to it, you can study, you can research, you can think your way through things, and you have all of these tools available to you. But never underestimate the value of just sitting down with a good translation and just reading.
That's exactly right.
I think there's a great value in saying, you know, like we're working our way through the book of 2 Corinthians here. That's great. But when we're finished, our viewers should go back and just start at the beginning and just read all the way through again and read extensively. I think that's...
And also talk about it. You know, the famous thing about the Shema. You're to talk about the one God and everything else there to your children when you get up in the morning, as you're walking, as you're putting them to bed at night.
Yes, yes.
And the Jews did this and died for this.
That's right.
Then you also reckon with the hugeness of these issues. We're dealing now with Muslims by the millions,
right.
Jews by the millions, for whom the doctrine of God is critical. They won't come near you if you talk about a Trinity, because the Quran doesn't talk about the Trinity. Jews have been schooled never ever to believe in more than one God. And here we are as Christians with a very strange paganized form of the doctrine of God, where even, as I just quoted, the Archbishop Ramsey says, Jesus never claimed to be God. Well, that should make people sit up and think. He was a scholar too, by the way. I mean, he was very learned. Jesus never claimed to be God. Well, so let's not go to church then and keep claiming that he is God, when he didn't claim that for himself.
That's right.
That's not very smart.
If he did not say it himself, and virtually every reasonable scholar will agree he did not say it, that was the case for himself.
That's right.
Then might we not be venturing way out when we claim it for him when he didn't say it? So, and And of course we do this fudge business of saying, well, he just didn't want people to know, and but it's just absurd.
It is really absurd.
Yeah.
One day I think the whole world will fall on its knees and say, my goodness, how did we believe some of the stuff we used to believe?
On my land, yes. It's
incredible.